Documentation beats conversation. Welcome to Car Buying Fast Tips. Shorter, faster, no-nonsense advice designed to help you buy a car without getting pushed around. Hi, I'm Kevin Hunter. Now, if you remember one thing from today's episode, remember this phrase: documentation beats conversation. Because inside a car dealership, conversation is where buyers lose money, and documentation is where buyers take control. If you followed us for any length of time, you already know our style. We take a no-nonsense, consumer-first approach to car buying. Dealers are trained to talk. My grandfather had a much blunter way of saying it. He said they're trained to bullshit you. They're trained to deflect. They're trained to bob and weave like Sugar Ray Leonard. They're trained to say things like, "We can't do that. That's not how it works around here. Just come on in and we'll take care of you." And they are perfectly happy to talk all day if you sit there and listen to them. But the moment you put paper on the desk, the power shifts immediately. So why conversation fails buyers? Conversation feels friendly. It feels reassuring. It feels human. But conversation is not enforceable. Verbal promises disappear the moment a manager steps in, you enter the finance office, or the deal suddenly needs to be rewritten. I hear this constantly from buyers after the deal is done. They told me they'd fix it. They said the fee would come off. They promised the rate wouldn't change. Here's the truth, and this is critical. If it's not written down, it does not exist. Documents don't forget. Documents don't backpedal. Documents don't panic when management walks in. That's why documentation beats conversation every single time. Let's talk about written out-the-door OTD quotes. The foundation of control. Rule number 1 for car buyers: never walk into a dealership without written out-the-door quotes from at least 2 or 3 other dealers. These quotes are gathered before any in-person visit, by email or by phone. And let's be very clear about what an OTD quote actually is. OTD does not mean an ad price. It doesn't mean a screenshot. It doesn't mean a text that says, "We'll take care of you." A real out-the-door quote includes vehicle price, dealer fees, taxes, title, registration, and a total out-the-door number. Because the second a dealer says, "We can't do that," and you slide another dealer's written OTD quote across the desk, that statement usually dies on the spot. And suddenly it becomes, "Let me check with my manager. We might be able to get close." And very often it's, "Okay, we'll match it." That's not luck. That's leverage. Now, here's why dealers hate written proof. Dealers rely on buyers not knowing what's possible. Written quotes destroy that advantage. They prove what the market will actually bear, what fees are negotiable, and they prove that discounts are real and that another dealer already agreed to them. Conversation lets dealers pretend limits exist. Documentation proves those limits are imaginary. That's why they push you to just come on in. Because once you're there without documentation, you're unprepared and they control the conversation. Let's talk financing, because one of the biggest lies that buyers hear is, "That's the best rate available." That lie only survives when buyers walk in without a loan pre-approval. When you walk in with a written pre-approval from your own bank or credit union, everything changes. Now the dealer has 2 options: match that rate or beat that rate. What they can't do anymore is pad the APR and hope you won't notice. And let me be crystal clear here. You never let a dealer run your credit until you already know what rate you qualify for. Once again, documentation beats conversation. Let's visit about trade-ins. Negotiate it last. Trade-ins are another area where buyers lose thousands. Before you step into a dealership, you should already have a written offer from CarMax, a written offer from Carvana, or both. The documentation protects your value. And here's the rule many buyers miss: negotiate the vehicle price first, negotiate the trade last. Dealers love blending numbers, inflating one to hide manipulation in another. Documentation keeps the math honest if you use it in the right order. Now, here's why this strategy works. Documentation removes emotion. It removes ambiguity. It forces accountability. Conversation is where manipulation lives. Documentation is where the truth shows up. That's why professional negotiators don't rely on promises. They only rely on paper. If you want expert help handling all of this for you, our Homework Guy car buying service exists for exactly that. And for our do-it-yourself buyers, we've created a brand new pamphlet titled Documentation Beats Conversation. If this all made sense, this document maps out the entire road to the sale so you can walk in prepared, not pressured. It can be found on our website, thehomeworkguy.com. By the way, if you're online, you can also find us in just about anywhere people hang out, like TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook Reels. And by the way, if you're on Facebook, come and follow us on our Facebook account. We're also on X, formerly Twitter, and on Rumble. Wherever you are, we're there to help. If you walk into a dealership prepared, you stood your ground and refused to pay for anything you didn't agree to, you rock. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Car Buying Fast Tips episode.